Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham AFC from the point of view of long-term fans and new fans.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 83 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Quite a sombre mood.
Rhymes.
It does rhyme, yeah. Quite a sombre mood in camp today,
Yeah.
I would say, after Saturday's result.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really want to do the podcast today.
No,
Felt a
bit flat.
bit flat, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. But we have a duty to
No.
to report everything,
Yeah.
not just
The
when
good,
we're doing.
the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Saturday was certainly bad and ugly.
Do
So
you think it would have been not as bad if we watched it from home?
no, I don't. I think you could have watched that from the moon and it would have been bad. But
Yeah.
I don't know really. But
We'll talk about that in a bit anyway.
we'll get on to that. So we'll do a little transfer roundup, I think,
Yeah.
because we've had a couple of ins and a couple of outs. So first one, Luke Bolton.
Yep.
Came from Salford.
Salford.
Luke's come on a 2.5-year deal. What do you make of this one?
It's a bit of a weird one because usually Parky likes to go for players that are in league, basically above us.
Yes.
But for some reason he's seen something in Luke Bolton, who is in League Two with us.
Mhm.
I thought it was a bit of a weird one.
I definitely thought it was strange because they've identified a player that they wanted to go after that, if I'm honest, I'm not sure it was a position that we needed to strengthen, because obviously we've got Barney there, we got Anthony Ford there as well, so we got two strong players who tend to alternate a little bit. Barney tends to play more of the time. Fordy, I think, is injured at the moment,
Which is maybe why.
which I get a little bit more strength in depth, because we have switched Mendy over to the right on the odd occasion that we've needed to, which maybe hasn't worked as well as Parky thought. But maybe there was areas that we needed to sort of strengthen a little bit more than right wing back, really, maybe. Look, he's been playing on the right side of a front three at Salford. We don't play that way. He also plays right wing.
Maybe Parky's thinking about it.
He isn't. He's played as a right winger. We don't use right wingers. He's played on the right side of midfield. We don't have right midfielders. Technically, we have right wing backs. So he has played there before. It's not like he hasn't played there before. But yeah, a little bit odd. I found it, the pursuit of a player in a position that I felt we were all right in.
There must be a reason.
Yeah, there must
be a reason that
I
we don't know
started
about.
musing that perhaps Anthony Ford was on his way out, which is why we wanted two right wing backs. It also, having an attacking player like that, as we've seen with Barney, it does give you the option. Barney's gone up front a couple of times before. It gives you that option, a player who's used to going forward and used to attacking.
With Anthony Ford, you have to remember his wife has been poorly.
Yeah,
yes. Maybe, they're bringing somebody else in to relieve the pressure of, having to be at every single game. I know that obviously him and Barney do alternate.
Yeah.
But I just think that maybe I'm completely wrong and I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, welcome to the club, Luke.
Don't you think, right, I was going to say this to you yesterday while we were at the football. I think Luke Bolton looks like Alfie's friend. Hello?
He does a little
bit, doesn't he?
Yeah. He does a little bit, yeah, to be fair. Anyway, nobody knows. Nobody knows who that is.
Inside joke.
Yeah, complete inside joke. We also signed Jack Marriott on a 1.5-year deal from Fleetwood.
League One team.
League One team. I had concerns about Jack Marriott, to be honest. Jack Marriott has been it's been mooted for a while. It's, the name came up months ago. Okay. Now, because it came up a few months ago, that potentially it's a player that we might look at. I obviously did quite a bit of research into him, what he's like. So basically, Jack's gone from the Championship to League One to League Two in 12 months. Now, that to me is a little bit concerning.
Bit of a red flag.
Little bit, on the face of it, it's a little bit, but you could probably take out the move to us. Lots of players have dropped down the league when coming to us.
Yeah.
So that skews it off a little bit, he's dropped down 2 leagues. There's that. He was a very good player. But not so much for his previous clubs recently, I would say. So for me, it was another slightly strange one.
Desperate, do you reckon?
I don't know. It's an odd one, isn't it? Because, we're going to talk about Jamie Lindsay in a minute. But I think when a club's got money or perceived money in it, all of a sudden the price for players seems to go up. And
just like when we go to away games, the prices for beer and stuff seems to creep up slightly
magically
because they think we've got loads of money as well.
Yeah. But Sean Harvey will not have his pants pulled down by any club wanting to, charge over the odds for a player.
Yeah.
And we are more than happy to walk away from a deal. Now, because of that, is Jack Marriott the first player we've gone after in that position and have agreed a price we're happy with and we've signed him? My guess would be probably not. We've probably gone for a couple of players first, been quoted a price that is above
ridiculous.
What we believe that player is worth, and we have moved on, and potentially we have ended up with Jack Marriott. I am not saying that is the case, but you'd have to assume that maybe that is the case. But there's a lot of negativity that surrounds Jack, to be honest. A lot of people saying, look, he's a great lad, but his attitude to football stinks. He doesn't train well. He's more bothered about playing golf than he is playing football. When the deal was announced, I saw loads of comments, golf-related comments, saying, "Oh, just think how many golf balls you could buy with that Hollywood money." Lots of stuff like that. So, without knowing the guy personally, it's quite hard to know. All you can base it on is the comments of potentially bitter fans, from other clubs. So that's what you're sort of basing it on. So it's quite hard. I'm just presenting the facts as I've found them. Although I'm more than happy to
give him a go.
Let's just see how it pans out for us.
Could be a good sign-in. Might be a disastrous
It could
sign-in.
be. I mean, one thing I did say in our WhatsApp group was the way that he's been moved on recently. It does sort of stink of problem child a little bit.
Yeah.
Fleetwood only signed him in January last year on a 2.5-year deal. And less than 12 months later, they're trying to move him on. And,
maybe that's why they only signed a year. Is it a year and a half or year?
Yeah, it is. So I think maybe Parky's taken a little bit of a punt and thought, right, let's see if we can get him doing what we want him to do.
Maybe he's just not been happy at any of those clubs.
It is.
Now he's with us, he's just going to be the model pupil.
Maybe. I don't know. Somebody asked me for my assessment of Jack Marriott. They said, I don't really know anything about him. Can you tell us a little bit? What's your assessment of him? And I just give a one-word answer: small. Because to me, he's small. He's 5'8".
He is.
And he's quite small, yet he knows where the back of the net is. We're going to come on to it in a minute, but we seem very intent on playing long, high balls up to the front two. We've got Mullin, who's not very tall. You've got Jack Marriott, who's 5'8".
Yeah.
Is that going to work? No,
No.
it really isn't.
No.
I do question how much game time Jack's going to get, because Parky's philosophy, and it has been for years and years and years, is have one big guy and one smaller guy. Now, Mullin is the smaller guy
at the moment.
So he would like to play him with Dalby or Palmer or Fletcher, somebody who's going to be able to either bring the ball down or flick it on or whatever. And then Mullin's there to pick up the second ball.
If he plays up front.
Well, yeah, Mullin's there to pick up the second ball. So is he going to play Marriott and Mullin together? History would argue no. But yeah, we were warned about something about Parky when he came to managers, okay, by fans of clubs that he'd managed before. And they all said the same thing of, he's a great guy, he's really likable, but he is very rigid and very stubborn to change. So if we're going to sit here and talk about, maybe he's going to go three up front, maybe he's going to deviate away from one big man and one smaller, I don't think it's going to happen. I was talking to somebody else the other day, and they were talking about, look, the service into the front two isn't there. We need to be getting it into midfield more, and then moving it forward into the front two.
Not just kicking it from the back.
But my argument is that isn't really how Parky sets his teams up. He sets them up with wing backs because he likes the ball to come from out wide. Yeah. So if the service isn't coming there, it's more because we're not getting it out to the wings properly, because that's the style of play that Parky likes to play. So if we're going to sit here and discuss maybe Parky will change this or change that, history tells us no, he's not going to do that.
History can be rewritten.
History can be rewritten. That is very correct.
So moving on to Jamie Lindsay.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I'll be honest, championship player.
I knew it wasn't going to happen.
I had a sneaking suspicion it wouldn't happen.
No. But it's getting too close to the wire. It was just championship player. I just couldn't see it.
Look, he had 6 months left on his contract. We put a bid in for him. The valuation that they had over our valuation didn't match. They wanted more money. We were not willing to pay more money. We ended up in a bit of a stalemate. And usually the board are at the club right up until sort of like midnight, 1 in the morning on transfer deadline day. By 10 o'clock, they'd all gone home. So everybody knew this was done and dusted. Unless it had been done earlier, they'd kept it secret, they'd all gone home, and they were just going to release it on Twitter that had happened. I don't think anyone believed that was the case.
No.
So we missed out. We missed out on him. A little bit more solidity maybe in midfield. You could argue he plays in a very similar position to George Evans. But at the same time, we do sort of play two semi-defensive midfielders. So, look, it's gone. He's not coming. He has only got 6 months left on his contract.
We've got the summer transfer window.
When the summer comes up, if we're still interested, he would be available to us for free.
It may be another Luke Armstrong thing, though.
It may be. We just don't know.
We get to the summer and it's like, nah.
So 3 players out of the club in this transfer window. So Jake Bickerstaff, first one, out on loan to Accrington. Happy?
I'm happy that he's been put out on loan.
Yeah.
And not just got rid of.
Yes.
I never thought that would happen, but I'm glad he's gone out on loan. I find it a bit weird that he's gone to another League Two team.
Yeah, I'm.
But I've read that he won't be playing when we play Accrington in March.
No,
obviously because he's a loan player.
Yeah, loan players. He still belons to us.
Yeah, so that'd be a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I saw pictures of him and I saw an interview with him actually, and it just felt a bit wrong, him being in an Accrington Stanley shirt and not a Wrexham shirt.
Yeah.
But we know it's just temporary, and hopefully he's going to start getting plenty of game time. It's going to build him up. He's going to be, because he's an amazing player anyway. But hopefully the time on the pitch will get him even better, even stronger. And he'll come back and he'll be one of the ones that will be going in the first 11.
But maybe, we everyone was banging on about needing a striker, and maybe we've got the answer all along. Maybe,
but he just needs to.
But not now.
No.
But maybe the answer to what we need, we already have,
and that's why maybe.
And I think a loan move.
Bickerstaff tall though.
No, he's very small as well. He played for Accrington. He played 58 minutes.
Did he?
So he started the match. Yeah, he played 58 minutes.
Going.
Yeah, came off. After that, they drew 0-0. So he's had his debut. He's got some minutes on the pitch. Didn't score, but just minutes. Just want minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes.
We don't want him to score.
No, I suppose not really. He's going to be playing in a slightly different position. So he's going to be playing as sort of like a number 10, slightly behind the striker sort of thing. So it's slightly different to what he's currently playing. What has been playing for us, but
more experience around over the pitch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm happy.
So we sadly had to say goodbye to 2 players on in the transfer window. They've not transferred anywhere. They have left by mutual consent. Although I find it a bit weird by mutual consent because, so we're talking about Bryce Hosanna and Liam McAlinden.
Yeah.
When they say by mutual agreement, it's like, sorry guys, you're leaving. And they're like, no, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, sorry, you're going. So I don't think it's by mutual consent.
No, probably not.
But it's just the polite thing to say, apart from Bryce and Liam.
But at the same time, they're players that aren't playing, so it might be quite mutual that they're happy to move on,
and be free agents.
Be free agents.
Yeah,
I worry for Bryce a little bit because he's just
You're a bit gutted about this, aren't you?
I am gutted. Maka not so much. I mean, not to be horrible, but he's just not. He doesn't come in and do much. He's a great player to have because he'll play all over the pitch. You can put him anywhere and he'll do a job. He really will, and it's a handy player to have. But we're not really utilising him at all. So for me, it makes more sense for him to go somewhere else and do that. The Bryce one, I completely agree and completely understand why. But for me, I genuinely believe if he'd have played, and now people might shoot me down, but I don't care because I believe this. If he would have played from when he arrived to now, if he'd have played every game, I genuinely think he'd have been our best fullback at the club, our best wing back. That would have been him because when he was playing, especially early on, I could see something in him that he looked like a really special talent. Lacked a little bit of confidence to take people on because they're always shouting from the stands, take him on. But every time he went to take people on, he would beat them. And I think if he'd just played week in, week out, that confidence would have grown and grown and grown, and he would have faced players up and gone, I'm going to beat you. He wouldn't have needed that shout from the crowd, take him on. He would have been beating people. Lots of skill, lots of talent that just needed to be nurtured. And as I say, if for the last 18 months he'd have played every game, I genuinely believe he would have been one of our best players. So much potential. And I'm gutted for him. I really am.
Well, hopefully somebody sees what you see in him.
Yeah.
And they'll... he's a free agent now, so he can go wherever he wants to go.
Yeah. I just worry that people are going to look at his his health record and think it's not worth the risk. I don't know. We'll keep.
Yeah, but he's a free agent, so they don't have to pay him anything, do they?
Of course, they have to pay him.
No, I don't mean. No,
they don't have to buy him.
That's what I meant. Yeah, they don't have to buy him. So what's the risk?
Wages. Still going to pay. This isn't John who's working on a production line who's earning £12 an hour. These are footballers. They earn, for just because our club's got lots of money, it's not the same for every club. An investment in a player, whether you're buying them or not, they've still got to pay them, and you've got to pay them quite well if you want to draw them in. So so we'll wait and see.
So good luck to Luke.
Oh, yeah, while you said that, I do want to bring something up. So I got a little bit of inside information. You reminded me, I didn't write it down, but you reminded me. A little bit of inside information that we were bringing 3 players in and we were getting rid of 4. As what actually happened was we got 3 out, sorry, and we got 2 in. So it's 1 less either side of that column. So obviously the Jamie Lindsay thing fell through. So that would have been the 1 extra.
Yeah.
If he would have come in, you could probably argue that would have meant a 1 midfielder would have left. Now, our guess is that 1 out was potentially Luke Young, because there's been lots of rumours surrounding him going to 1 or 2 other clubs. So we guess if the Jamie Lindsay would have happened, that would have been the domino effect to send another player out, either to another club or leave by mutual consent. Our guess is that was Luke Young, but we genuinely don't know. But if the information we got was correct, which we believe it was, that 3 in, 4 out, then if that Jamie Lindsay one would have happened, then a midfielder would have left, and that is our guess that it was going to be Luke. But
what I was trying to say was good luck to Liam and to Bryce and also Jake as well. With your loan to Accrington. But let's move on to the Blackburn game. There was lots of obviously there was over 7,000. I think there was over 7,200 fans there. It kicked off at 7:30, which. It's normal for
yes, but 7:45's the norm.
Well, apparently there was lots of problems getting into the ground. When we were at the game on Saturday, the Salford game, we spoke to Steve Lloyd from Dragon Chat. He said that he left his house, I think it was 4:30, not 4:00.
Okay, 4:00.
It might have been 4. But anyway, he left in plenty of time. They didn't get to the ground until 7.
Yes.
And they said that they missed the first 15 minutes of the game. And I read actually quite a lot of tweets and things like that, or X's, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what to call them these days. Basically saying that they missed quite a bit of the game. There was still thousands of people outside still at 7:30. It was rush hour traffic getting into Blackburn.
Look, it was. I think there was quite a few things wrong with this. They didn't have enough turnstiles open. There was quite a few, from what I've been told, quite a few Wrexham fans arrived quite late. Didn't arrive till sort of like 7:10, 7:15. That should be still enough time to get into a ground. But
what do they have to do? They literally have to swipe a thing.
They were doing a lot of searches and stuff like that, which I think is like a thing you have to do now for FA Cup games. I got searched in Salford.
You did?
I was quite. I didn't know how to feel about that. I thought I had one of them faces that needs to be searched. Okay, but yeah. So it's look. There was a lot of contributing factors. A lot of people were there well in advance. I'm not blaming anybody for getting there a little bit late. But yeah, as I say, but the people who did get there late, from what I've heard, it was all the rush hour traffic surrounding that game. Look, in elements of it, from what I have seen and what I have heard, were quite dangerous. There were people trying to get in. There was people stood in the gantry on the steps, trying to get to seats, couldn't sit down.
Oh my God.
And I heard it was quite dangerous.
Where were the stewards?
I don't know.
Were they doing?
Because
I heard that there was obviously stewards there and security or whatever. But apparently they were useless.
Yeah.
They weren't, helpful at all.
No, but anyway, let's move on to the game itself. I can summarise this game in very quickly, in less than 10 seconds.
Well, like if you do like a little image coming from there's just loads of Zeds.
I can summarise the game in 10 seconds.
Go on.
We didn't touch the ball for 15 minutes. We scored, and then we didn't touch the ball for 75 minutes after that. That is the breakdown of the game from my point of view, because that is pretty much what happened. Look, we didn't start well. They came out, and massive respect to John Dahl Thompson, the way that he set his team up and the way that he motivated his team and the way that the players were up for it. You know, they weren't looking at us like, oh, it's a League Two team,
Yeah.
as maybe the two Championship teams that we played last season did.
Yeah.
They treated us with absolute respect and went out to beat us.
As if we were a Championship team.
As any other team they would play week in, week out. They went out there to do a job, and let's be honest, they completely did a job.
They annihilated us. No, they annihilated us.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, look, as I said, we didn't. It seemed like we didn't touch the ball for the first 15 minutes.
When Cannon scored his first goal,
his only goal,
the one and only
the goal,
I honestly thought, I screamed. I was on my own watching it, and I was like, oh my God, this is like just so good. I was like screaming, going, Cannon. And I thought, oh, we're going to do something here. We're going to this is just going to put rockets up bums, and we're going to do, and then no.
I'm completely with you. Look, for that first 15 minutes, we looked completely second best. All over the park, we were second best, and I thought this is going to be a long night. And I was, I said to someone, look, we just got to soak this up. Soak it up.
Which I think the fans definitely did.
Yeah, and we just got to soak up the pressure. Come on, take it. And then just try and get something.
Take it.
Try and get something on the break. And then Cannon, in all fairness, it was a hell of a finish. Absolute hell of a finish. And everyone that I spoke to about the FA Cup and about the Blackburn game, I said, everything has to go our way on the night for us to get something out of this. Every chance we get, we've got to take.
Yeah.
Every chance that we get, because we're not going to get many.
Mm-hmm.
And then first chance, 18, 19 minutes in, whatever it was, fell to Cannon. Amazing finish.
So good.
He shouldn't have scored that. No way should he have scored that. It was a brilliant finish. And that was the point when I went, do you know what? Maybe this is a night where we're not going to get many chances, but we've had one and we've taken it. And like you, I was like, something could happen here. We could do this again. And then they just took the ball off us.
Never gave it back.
I never gave it back for the rest of the game.
It was like when you chuck your ball over a neighbour's fence and you go, can I have my ball back, please?
And they go,
like, no.
No, absolutely not. No, you are not having this back. McLean had a chance to make it 2-0.
Yes, he did. That was probably the only other chance that we had.
Yeah, Cannon got the ball and he'd scored one with an absolute rocket and he thought, I'm going to have another go here. I quite liked it scoring then. So he hit it, keeper saved it, bounced back to McLean. In all fairness to him, he did really well to get over the ball, to hit it. In my opinion, keeper saved it. Had a shot, keeper saved it. In my opinion, I think McLean caught it too well. Because I think if he'd have scuffed it off his shin or he'd have bounced it into the ground, I think he could have done anything
other than what he
wrong,
did. Yeah.
And it would have gone in.
Yeah.
Because there's loads of times that you see it. The keeper is expecting, when he's there, the keeper is expecting you to catch it well, and he's got a good idea where it's going to go based on everything. And because he caught it well, the keeper pretty much knew where it was going. And like I say, if he just scuffed it off his knee or his shin or, he didn't catch it right or anything, I think it would have gone in. So I think he's the victim of his own well-executed shot, to be honest. And I think that's the reason why he probably
that's what you
saved
want. You want them to have well-executed games, but
on this occasion, he just needed to scuff it a little bit and get it slightly wrong, and I think we'd have gone 2-0 up.
Never mind.
Based on what happened after, I don't want anyone to be of the belief that I think we'd have won the game. I think based on the way the game went, I think it would have increased our belief. But I just think Blackburn just would have had too much and we probably would have still lost the game. It would have made it a lot more exciting, though.
It would have.
Yeah. Because they equalised. Look, I picked out Sammy Swanich last week. Sammy Swanich, yeah. Picked him out last week, and let's be honest, he ran the whole game.
He was the I think it was the Emirates.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Man of the match.
Yeah, he was.
And I think the guys who were commentating as well were.
He was fantastic. I knew he'd be fantastic. I picked him out. Like I said, he's one of my favourite Championship players. And he did pretty much run the show. He got the equaliser. Didn't like the way that he sort of sort of gestured towards our fans. But anyway,
Did he shush us or?
I think he shushed us. Yeah, and then Arthur decided he was a bit bored with being a goalkeeper.
He wanted to be a player.
He wanted to come out.
He wanted to, I know he's a player, but he wanted to be like, you know.
I want to play in defence.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
No idea. I was looking in the goal. I was like, where's Arthur gone?
He came, and I look. Keepers are taught to narrow the angle. You know,
Yep.
come out, make the goal small.
Yeah, but not walk across to the other side of the pitch.
So he did that, but then he sort of stopped. He sort of felt like he was going to go back, and then he carried on. So he came out of the box. I was confused completely by him coming out of the box.
Yep.
Because what coming out of the box does for a keeper, it takes away your ability to use your hands.
I was going to say it's very. Oh yeah, of course.
So as soon as he stepped over that line, all of a sudden you made the goal big again because you can't do that. You can't put your arms out. You can't put your arms out like that.
Okay.
And you can't stop the ball. So if he would have done that, he would have been sent off. I don't know. It was just a bit of a.
Maybe it was just a bit of lack of concentration, maybe, which you don't really want from
yeah,
a goalkeeper, do you?
It was a bit of a brain melt, I think. It was just one of them that I didn't understand what he was doing. It put us 2-1 down. He went a little bit of walkabout before they scored at all. I think before we scored, actually, and their player lobbed it over him, and then we cleared it off the line. I think, you know, that in isolation, it's a bad mistake.
Yeah, but I don't think it was detriment to the whole game.
In isolation, you can sort of go, look, he's still a great keeper and he's still making great saves. Yeah.
Just found something that looks a
couple of marks on your top. You know, in isolation, you could sort of sweep that to one side.
But
maybe
it
not
was still
quite
a bit dangerous.
Maybe not quite in isolation based on what we're going to talk about in the Salford game as well. But we'll come on to that in a minute. So they got 2 goals in 2 minutes, and then Sammy got his second just before half time. And
I'm bored of talking about this game now.
It pretty much killed the game, didn't it? It was dead at half time, I think, unless we were going to come out and just go hell for leather and go for it, which we didn't really do. They got their 4th on 59 minutes. When they got their 4th, with over half an hour to go?
Oh, I thought it was going to be like 12.
Did
Maybe
you?
not 12, but I thought I felt that there was definitely another 2 goals in them.
Yeah, I did as
well. Which
well.
I'm actually surprised that we managed to keep them at bay, but...
Yeah, I had the same feeling. It was sort of like, oh, this is going to be embarrassing now, because they, you know, with over half an hour to go, really, I thought there's another 1 or 2 in this for them. And look, thankfully, we kept it at 4. And I think, you know, we bowed out. Look, we got lots of abuse online, as we always did. Wrexham got humbled. I'm sick of that word. But yeah, you know, we move on. We had a decent run. We come up against the better team. Yeah. And the better team beat us. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Happens.
But it's a better team that are 2 leagues above us.
Yes.
So
that's what we have to remember.
You know,
if it was a League 2 team and they annihilated us, well, actually, we're going to be talking about the Salford game in a minute. I'm just gonna leave that comment there.
One thing I'm gonna say though.
Yeah.
Did we give a good account of ourselves at Blackburn?
No, but the fans definitely did. We represented the club very well, I think, as fans. But yeah, I don't think the players were as no.
Just wasn't there, was it?
No.
You know, apart from the goal, which gave everyone a little bit of excitement, it just wasn't there. You know, there was no. If we'd have gone out all guns blazing, you'd sort of go, fair play, I'd a go there.
No.
As it was, it didn't feel like that, did it? No. It just felt like we'd curled up into the fetal position and we just let them kick us for a bit. And I'll be honest, watching the game, I got to about 70 minutes in maybe, and I just got really bored of watching them pass it around us like we weren't even there.
Oh,
And
do you know what? When we do it, it's sort of fun. But
the
when another
the ole gets to me when it's the other team. You know, when they go every time they pass the ball and it goes to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We do that
It's
sometimes.
fine. It's all right, yeah.
It is perfectly fine. But when another team's doing it against you, it grates me.
And it just you can see the frustration. And look, it's quite hard to judge the players in a game like that because, as I say, we're 2 leagues apart. That is, on paper, that's what should be happening.
Mm-hmm.
They should be controlling the game. They should be dominating the game. They should be putting 3 or 4 past a League Two team. Look, the FA Cup isn't played on paper. Maidstone can attest to that.
They're having an amazing run, aren't they?
They are, so it's not played on paper. But on paper, what happened on Monday night is probably what should happen.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, so we've just got to wipe our face a little bit and move on, I think, with that one.
So,
should we just end it?
Yeah, we lost yesterday at Salford on Saturday. Goodbye.
So it was our first away day of the season, and
it nearly didn't happen again.
Yeah, so our son wasn't very well on Friday night. Very massive thank you to Sian's mum for coming to look after him and sit with him while we went to Salford. Sian felt a little bit guilty about going and when he was ill. I didn't. I was more than happy to go.
He didn't care anyway. Alfie was just like...
He was like, you go. I'm fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. We've got a stat for you.
Okay, the stat?
Yes, this is the first time in 83 episodes of this podcast that we are sat here talking about 2 defeats. This is the first time we've done that.
That's depressing.
It is depressing, but I think it maybe gives us a little bit of perspective on... We've had 82 episodes worth where we haven't had to sit and talk about 2 defeats. The fact that the first time it's happened is 83 episodes in, I think should give us a little bit of perspective. Maybe. Okay. Doesn't make it any easier based on what we watched on Saturday, but should give us a little bit of perspective on how far we've come. Look, we had Hayden and Tunners back in the team.
I went to pick up, obviously you know this, but I went to the club shop on Friday to pick up our tickets for the Salford game. And I saw Hayden getting out of his car. He had his little girl with him, so I didn't want to go over and bug him. And plus, I probably wouldn't have done it anyway, even if he was on his own. I'm a massive wimp. But anyway, when I got the tickets, I was going back to the car. And he came out. He went in with no boots, but came out with boots.
Yeah.
So I said to you,
guaranteed playing.
He's playing on Saturday against Salford.
And you were right.
Yep. He had his red boots on.
Yeah. He
was. He did play, and it was so good. I'm loving his hair at the moment.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Keep it. Honestly, don't cut it anymore, Hayden.
No.
Honestly.
Brilliant. Yeah. I was a bit concerned when I saw both of them in the team. Tunners and Hayden in the team. A little bit concerned because neither of them have had much game time. Both of them are going to be quite rusty. And I thought to throw 2 centre-backs into that, when we had Owen O'Connell on the bench, I sort of felt...
Why? And he didn't get brought on either, did he, O'Connell?
No, he didn't. And I wasn't a massive fan of them both playing. If I'm honest.
Wow.
Cannon kept his place over James Jones. He's a bit of a regular in the team at the moment. For you, Cannon or Jones?
I like Cannon.
Yeah.
But I just think James Jones has just got that little bit something else.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Can't tell you. I can't put my finger on it. But I just think, they're both, amazing down that.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I'd pick either. I don't think either of them have got enough every week to warrant claiming that position as their own, if I'm honest. And that's not being horrible. I just don't think... They're not a George Evans in the sense of going, look, he didn't play great on Saturday either. But
nobody did.
No, but a George Evans for me is somebody that you go, right, nobody's taking that spot. That
No.
that's his spot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Cannon or Jones have got enough.
Not yet, anyway.
No, to say that is your spot and nobody else
I
is
would say
playing there.
Jones more so than Cannon, maybe.
For you?
But for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
James Jones is one of the OGs, isn't he, for me? So.
Yeah, probably. I think it's quite hard. I think when Cannon's on his game, I think he's amazing. But
As is James
I
Jones.
think I'm probably leaning a bit more to you. In the sense
What,
of
me playing?
No, not you playing.
I probably could have done a better job on Saturday.
Yeah,
I've got a dodgy
I think
head.
I prefer James Jones a little bit more to Cannon as well. Some people really don't like James Jones for whatever reason. I'm a big JJ fan, and
I like him.
I think I'm with you
But
on that one.
at the same
One and only time I might agree with you, but I think I probably
one and
do.
only time. Don't pretend.
Yeah, I spotted a problem early on.
A problem?
No, let me finish. I spotted a problem in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was like
there was
of problems.
There was
after.
a domino effect of problems after that, but I spotted quite a key one early on. So they got Matt Smith up front.
I don't like him.
Massive, isn't he? Massive,
and I just don't like him.
In the flesh, he's even bigger than he looks on TV as well. Anyway, they got Matt Smith up front. Big lad.
Yep.
You know, very good in the air.
Big and like broad.
Very broad, yeah. And very good in the air. Got a good leap on him. You know, you need someone like Hayden marking him, ideally because of the jump. Although Matt Smith, with his size, should be able to outmuscle Aaron Hayden, but just for the leap, I would say. Now, Salford very much did their homework here. I think Carl Robinson did a good job. A lot of the balls started going down the left. Okay, the Salford left.
Sorry, there's a spider on the wall.
Oh yeah, it's quite quick as well, that. Anyway, they started putting the ball down the left, okay, which is the side that Hayden was on. Okay, so what was happening is Hayden was drifting out to face up the person with the ball. Now, what then happened is Tozer moved across to fill the space that Hayden had left. That left Tunnicliffe to move in, and then it was Tunnicliffe marking Matt Smith in the middle. That's a mismatch for me. Tunners is never beating Matt Smith in the air. He's not. So that was a mismatch. The other problem with that is Tunners was leaving his man to mark Matt Smith. So if that ball come in and it was too high, it was going to the free man at the back post that Tunnicliffe had left to move in to mark Matt Smith. And Matt Smith got a header early on. That exact scenario I've just explained, Matt Smith had a header, Okonkwo made a brilliant save. I spotted that straight away, and for me, I was worried about that instantly. And I think they maybe needed a little bit of a swap in there. Look, I know Hayden likes playing on the right. I know Tunnicliffe likes playing on the left. But if that's what they're going to continue to do, then maybe we should have switched Tunnicliffe and Hayden around, so it was then Hayden that was coming in to mark. That still left the problem of a man free at the back post, because it happened numerous times.
Yeah, it did.
And there's nothing to say, well, if that's what we're going to do, they're going to start pushing the ball down the right to create that mismatch between Tunnicliffe and Matt Smith. Would Owen O'Connell have been better up against Matt Smith than Tunnicliffe? Perhaps. I don't know. I am not an expert. I'm just saying I spotted this very early on. So yeah, as I say, the resulting corner from that Matt Smith header that's where their first goal come from. So the ball came across. Arthur went for it a little bit, lost the flight of it, jumped, missed it, and Theo Vassell nodded it in at the back post. Anyone but him, to be honest. But you didn't.
Wrexham reject. Wrexham reject.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't really know him, did you? Because he was literally. I tell you, his last game for Wrexham. Do you know the game that we played to try and get into the playoffs when we drew 1-1 with Dagenham, when Paul Rutherford was sent off, his last game for Wrexham?
Yes.
That was Theo Vassell's last game for us, I think. Yeah, I think it was. So that was his last game for us. He didn't celebrate his goal, put his hands up like that, in front of the Wrexham fans, not going to celebrate your goal. What are your thoughts on players not celebrating?
I feel bad calling him a Wrexham reject now.
No, but
I
what?
did see that, but I wasn't quite sure why he was doing
Yeah,
that.
because we had a conversation after, didn't we? So he refused to celebrate because it's against his old club. How do you feel about players not celebrating goals against the club they used to play for?
Very respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think anything of it, to be honest.
I hate it, is the reason I'm asking.
Why?
Because you've got no, we don't care. You've gone now. If you score...
Well, we cared a little bit because everyone was screaming Wrexham reject at him.
If you score, celebrate it. They pay your wages now. We don't.
Yeah.
You've nothing to do with it. I hate it in football. I hate it. You've gone. You've moved on somewhere else. They now pay your wages. You score a goal. You celebrate it however you want, mate. Absolutely however you want.
Maybe that's what's his celebration.
I will hurl abuse at you for doing that. But
that's why he didn't do it.
But I would rather they celebrate a goal than not celebrate. I'm not for it. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. But anyway,
I want to talk about Ben Tozer and a little bit of Arthur, actually. Oh no, sorry, Sam Dalby. The way that our fans, we were in a particular area where there was a lot of young male fans.
It's quite vocal where we were.
Very vocal. The C word was used umpteen times. I don't think I've ever heard it being used that many times. But anyway, they didn't care that there was a lady standing there.
Where was she?
Yeah, shut your face. But they were very abusive towards Ben Tozer and Sam Dalby. Mm-hmm. I know you're going to say something. Mm-hmm. But then Sam Dalby scored a goal. Mm. And they were all like, oh, we love you, Sam, we love you. And I just thought, just two-faced.
That's football for you. That's football.
Just, but the thing that
Got to have a thick skin in football.
I know you do, but Ben Tozer has talked about mental health and how abuse and things like that can affect it. But, which is why...
Right, let me make my next point, okay, before you tie yourself in knots here, okay?
I'm not tying myself in knots.
You are a little bit. Because the next thing that happened is the ball comes over, Ben tries to control it, slips under his foot, they go clean through, Arthur makes a very good save at that point, okay? From that resulting corner, they score, okay? And that makes it 2-0. Ben had a stinker of the first half an hour. A lot of people will argue he had a stinker of a whole game, but he genuinely did. Now, I get your point that we'll talk about the 2 goals on Arthur in a minute. I get your point, but I think it's quite a difficult scenario to try and understand a little bit because, yes, look, I'm a big advocate for mental health. I'm never going to scream at our own players to tell them that they're not doing good enough or words to that effect. But at the same time, I think as a footballer, you have to expect that there are plenty of people out there who have worked all week, earned their money, and chosen to spend what spare money they've got going to watch the team that they love, to then have to stand there and watch players make mistake after mistake after mistake, not put effort in, not try. That isn't acceptable, and you have to understand how. And I'm not saying that's not all Ben Tozer. I'm talking about the team. Now, you have to understand then how frustrations within these people who are like, we left the house at 11 o'clock yesterday.
We did.
We didn't get back till 7 o'clock at night, and that's just a game down the road. And we paid money for tickets. You know, there's food, there's drink, everything that goes along with that football. And we got, in return, we got nothing back. So you have to understand how frustration, I'm not saying it's acceptable and everything that is shouted at players is acceptable, but I think sometimes you have to understand why the frustrations do boil over in people. You know, when they are giving so much of themselves to go and support that team, I think it's hard for people to see players that they deem are not doing their job. Because at the end of the day, it's their job, and you do make mistakes in your job.
I don't.
But you know, we know that's not true. But yeah, I think that's what you have to understand on a broad spectrum. And I'm not waving the flag for hurling abuse at players.
No, don't.
I'm not at all. But I think it's about understanding why that does happen at times. So let's talk about the 2 goals in together. Look, the second one was ridiculous. You know, the ball comes across. Arthur lost the flight of it completely for whatever reason. We had no player on the back post, which from time to time I don't understand.
People were shouting for Dalby to get to the back post.
Yeah, but they were shouting for him to get the back post when it was too late. It was already done by then. But for it to happen and then still not put anyone on the back post was bizarre to me. Look, Arthur lost the flight of both of them corners.
Yeah.
You know, he made some great saves. In the first 20 minutes, he made 2 amazing saves, but made 2 massive mistakes. And the problem with being a goalkeeper is when you make a mistake, it usually leads to a goal. And that's what happened in both instances. He made 2 mistakes.
Yeah.
They scored twice from it, you know. And I think Arthur's just got to stand up and take that one. He's got to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But you know, he's just got to stand up and be counted for that. He's made a big mistake at Blackburn to let them go 2-1 up. He's made 2 big mistakes at Salford. They've gone 2-0 up because of that. He's made 3 big mistakes and it's cost us 3 goals, right? I love Arthur. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. I just think he needs to put this behind him now and move forward.
Yeah, I think the fact that Monday happened and then Saturday, maybe it was, I think it was definitely a confidence thing. I think maybe. He is only a young player, you know, all well that he was playing, you know, at Arsenal. But, we move on and
we do.
I mean,
we were 2-0 down. Forward. We were 2-0 down in the home game, in the reverse fixture, weren't we?
Yeah,
and when we went 2-0 down, everyone was like, I was looking on betting apps when I go in, what's the odds on us winning this 3-2? Wasn't great, to be honest. So, but and you know, everyone sort of thought, yes, we could do this.
Turn it round.
And, you know, Hayden, brilliant leap, Dalby header, made it 2-1. Sort of felt like going into half-time, maybe?
Positive.
Maybe. I think we came out in the second half. We were a lot more positive in the first sort of 5 minutes. Felt like something was going to happen. We maybe could have made it 2-2 cross. I think it was a corner, came across. It flashed onto Mullin really quickly, and he tried to head it. And he put it over the bar.
I think he was a bit like he was a bit. It was a bit expecting it.
It was a bit quick. He couldn't get over it quick enough, but that could have been 2-2.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, we wouldn't have deserved any of that because we were abysmal, and we just, you know. But it would have been nice to be at 2-2. When we didn't deserve it.
It's just not nice losing to a team who were like, who were like 19th. Well, they're probably not 19th, or whatever they were at the time.
I know, yeah. But I think the thing that annoyed everyone, we just continued to hoof the ball, didn't we?
We're their giant killing, aren't we?
Maybe.
We're in the same league.
But we just kept hoofing the ball.
Oh my God, it was like...
just hoofing it long, and it wasn't happening, and we just continued to hoof it. I mean, it's the definition of madness, isn't it? Trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't happening at all. Matt Smith made it 3-1. We didn't make a change until 6 minutes after we went 3-0 down. I mean, 3-1 down, sorry. I don't understand why. As soon as you go 3-1 down, right, let's make the change.
People were singing, Parky, what was it?
Parky, make a change.
Parky, make a change.
But then when you did make a change, it was just a like for like. So it was Fletcher for Dalby. It wasn't changing anything. We didn't actually make any actual changes to our sort of formation or structure until the 80th minute, when it was sort of like, 1, this is probably too late now, and 2, it's like, no, it's too late. It wasn't two. It was just.
Yeah, it was too late.
I think there's. I don't know. I don't really.
Can we move on because it's really
No,
depressing
no,
me.
we can't. They nearly made it 4-1 when they rattled the bar. Will you stop yawning? It's so annoying.
Sorry.
You're really annoying for yawning. We've now lost the last 3 away games in the league. 3 in a row we have lost to Walsall, to Newport, and now to Salford as well. More concern. Now, there was a lot of rumblings online, very much 2 camps. One camp was, why is everyone losing their head? We're going to lose games. You just need to accept it.
That comes out all the time, though.
It does. What is wrong with people? Why are people... I think what that camp of people need to understand is it's not losing games. It is not losing games that bothers us. If we'd have gone out and played like we do at home and lost that game...
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yes.
We had, against Salford, 1 shot on target.
Which we scored.
1. We've spent all that money. We've travelled there. We've wasted a whole Saturday to see 1 shot on target. Newport away. Okay? All that distance travelling down there. All that distance travelling back. What did we produce at Newport? 1 shot on target. And I'm going to be honest with you, that wasn't even a shot. That was a cross that they logged as a shot on target. I mean, in 2 games, 2 full games combined, we have had 1 shot on target and 1 cross that they have for some reason logged as a shot. That's not acceptable.
No.
And that is the reason people are so angry. If you go out there, you play amazingly well, and you are unlucky, and maybe you hit the bar, keeper makes a few good saves, you have 5, 6, 7 shots on target, and you lose a game. Me personally, I sit back and go, look, we've lost that one. I'm absolutely gutted, but
They played really well.
I see the team that are playing at home.
Yeah.
When we're playing away,
Yeah.
and I'll take a loss.
It is
right?
weird. It is like you're literally seeing a complete. They're the same people in like body.
Complete Jekyll and Hyde.
But it's like I don't understand what is it with our home I'll get the words out. Our home form that's not kind of translating into our away form. I just don't get it.
I'm not a manager, as you well know.
Yeah.
But I feel that if Bradford rung me up today, right, and said take charge of the game on Saturday at Wrexham, I feel like I know how to set up against us because I think we're too predictable.
This is the same as last season, though.
Too predictable.
Yeah.
If Wrexham were coming to my ground,
yeah.
Okay, and I walked in there 10 minutes before kickoff, and they go, "All right, Gaffer, how do you want us to set up?" What I would do, 2 big centre backs who are going to clean up everything that comes in the air, because let's be honest, everything's going to come in the air. And then what I would do, I would have a front 3 that would just press high. Press high, stop us being able to play the ball around, and what that does, it forces us to play the ball long, and your big centre backs swallow up Paul Mullin all day long because he's only 5'10". And that is how you beat Wrexham. You don't let them play, you don't let them have the ball, they're forced to hoof it long, and this is the result. And let's be honest, we're so predictable that a 42-year-old man who has never managed a team in his life could set a team up to beat Wrexham away from home. And that's just that it's sad, but it's the way it is. And
if the Bradford City manager's watching this now, he's so going to take that as right, okay.
It is what it is, isn't it? Some other results: Stockport drew with Harrogate, Mansfield beat Notts County, Barrow beat MK Dons, and Crewe drew with Tranmere. Crewe drew. We dropped to 4th, but we have at least 1 game in hand on everyone around us. 2 over Barrow and Crewe.
I didn't like that.
So we're still all right, but. Everyone keeps going, we just got to win our game in hand. If that game in hand's away, we got no hope. So, we need. I'd
What is
rather.
the game in hand?
It depends when it falls. It depends when it falls, to be honest, and when we catch back up. So,
right, okay.
yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
Well,
let's hope it's. Well, the only one we've got is Crawley, isn't it? Or is that not a game in hand?
It will be, yeah, but it depends. It depends
the
when
only...
the game in hand falls. If we might play Crawley on a Tuesday when loads of other people are playing. So then technically it's not a game in hand, then, is it? It depends when it falls.
Okay, right, okay, get you.
We're just going to run through because it's a little bit longer than normal episode because it's very moany. But just going to run through Bradford for you. So it's back to League Two action. It's a home game on Saturday, the 10th of February at 3 p.m. It's available for international fans
GMT.
on iFollow. The last game was a 1-1 draw at Valley Parade in October. Mullin had put us 1-0 up, but Bradford equalised in the 85th minute. Remember that one? Gutted. They drew 0-0 with Wimbledon on Saturday. The last 5 games, they've lost 3 and drawn 2 in the league. They've only won 1 of their last 9 in the league, Bradford. Their last league win was the 22nd of December. Surprise for a Bradford team because they've got some good players in there. They're 18th on 37 points. They've won 9, drawn 10, lost 11. Their top scorer technically is Jake Young, but he scored all of his goals for Swindon and they recalled him from his loan spell. So I suppose their top scorer is Andy Cook with 11, who scored all of his goals for Bradford, as opposed to Jake Young, who scored them elsewhere. Prediction for the game.
Okay. Do you know what? Predictions are just really, they're getting to me now because
I know, yeah.
We're just not doing very well.
No, it's a home game, it's fine. Let's go for 6-0.
Yeah, 20-0. I'm going to go then, as it is home, got good home form, 3-1.
3-1 Wrexham.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, let's take it nice and gentle. Ease back in. I'm going to go for 2-0. 2-0. Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run a weekly Zoom call on a Thursday from 7 p.m. till 8:30. The best thing to do is follow Dragon Chat-Steve Lloyd on Twitter. There is also a women's peer support group, mental health peer support group as well, which is on Mondays, and that is at 8 p.m.
It is at 8 p.m, yes.
Yeah, so all the details of how to get on both calls are down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. If
you do want to get in touch, you can get in touch with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, email. Me, the wife, and Wrexham AFC at gmail.com. You can tell I don't read that out very often.
You don't usually read it out. No. Quiz time. Nice, simple one this week.
Is it going to be about Salford?
Some of it?
Ugh.
No. Right.
I just want to forget about that.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Question 1. How old is Jack Marriott?
24.
Jack Marriott's 24. Okay. No, he's not. Jack Marriott is 29. We failed to sign Jamie Lindsay. I think Luke Bolton's 24. We failed to sign Jamie Lindsay this week. From who?
Rotherham?
Correct. Rotherham, yes. Macca left us this week, but which League 2 club did we sign him from? Was it Morecambe, Accrington or Swindon?
Morecambe.
It is Morecambe. That is 2. We visited Moor Lane on Saturday.
We did.
Yeah. But what is the ground called for sponsorship reasons?
Peninsula Stadium.
Correct. 3. Yeah. And the last one, we play Bradford on Saturday.
We do.
What date did Bradford win their last league game? I told you this.
December 22nd.
Well done. 4 out of 5. Well done. Well done. Look, thank you very much for tuning in again this week. A little bit longer than normal because, as I said, I've wanted to moan quite a bit.
We've got to do the good, the bad, the ugly.
We've got to look, but we've got to stay positive. The moaning's done, and we can just move on now.
Episode 84 is going to be full of positivity because we're going to beat Bradford City at home on the 10th of February. Yeah.
Last time we lost 3 games in a row was May 2022. Yeah, I know. So it's quite a while. But so just to leave you on a bit of a sour note. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye. Bye.